It's been an incredible 15 years for Toyota here in New Zealand, and long may it continue. And it's been a fantastic breeding ground for Formula One stars of the future. Welcome once again to the Bruce McLaren circuit here at Taupo. It's a lovely day, a little bit breezy, the wind going from east to west, but it'll be, well, you can see the wind for yourself in the flags. It'll be a little tough down the back straight probably, but they've been here a couple of days. The wind tends to change from day to day here, so you always have to be careful as to which way the breeze is going, especially down that long back straight. Jonathan Green here with you, getting ready for the first of 4 races here from Taupo. And we start with the feature race that wasn't held, of course, in Tonga. So a vital race, given the championship is so close. And talking of the championship, well, there's no doubt. All the talk in New Zealand and in the newspapers and magazines has been about the 2 Kiwis, the 16-year-old born in Hastings, Liam Lawson, and of course, Christchurch's very own Marcus Armstrong. They go head-to-head, as they do once again for race 1. And this series is all about who will be the best Kiwi. This year's Castrol Toyota Racing Series is about 2 drivers searching for glory against the rest of the world at home here in New Zealand. 16-year-old Liam Lawson against 18-year-old Marcus Armstrong. Both race for M2 competition, but their rivalry has captivated fans throughout the series. Marcus Armstrong of Christchurch is already an international star in Europe and a member of the elite Ferrari Academy. 16-year-old Hastings-born Liam Lawson is making his debut in the series. Both have 3 wins apiece. As they approach the penultimate round, it's a case of who blinks first. With 7 races to go and the finale of the famous New Zealand Grand Prix ahead, each qualifying session split between hundredths of a second, the stage is set for a classic Kiwi confrontation where winner takes all. It truly has been a fascinating first few rounds, and it's far from over yet. We have 7 races to go, and once again on the grid for today's race, split by 0.108 of a second. And coming up in the next qualifying race for the first race of Taupo, they're split by 0.183, but first and third. But really, it has been the Armstrong-Lawson show. That said, Lucas Auer yet to win, Raul Hyman likewise, all could be a factor in this one. It's certainly not a 2-horse race by any means. It's going to be an interesting one, this one. In terms of the conditions, I know that Murray Taylor is down there in the pits and just checking out the wind, I'm sure. But Murray, what's the latest down there?
Well, Jonathan, I can tell you, it really is ironic. This race is a holdover race from Invercargill, and the wind was too strong. We couldn't race down at Invercargill. And within the last half hour, the breeze has sprung up. The last few days has been coming from the south. I think I'm not too good on the local directions, but I think it's coming in from the east, and it really is quite a steady breeze. It certainly could influence the outcome of this critical race.
And it is a critical race, 20 laps around Taupo. And this, I mean, Michelin aren't worried tyres will last forever here, but they will, you know, they will deteriorate as the race goes on. And this is a longer race than we've got coming up later today at about 5:30. This will be 20 laps. So you can imagine that you won't be going full cracker, I don't think, on the 19th lap perhaps. So you want to get it done early.
Yes, these longer races really are a test for these young drivers. Tanks filled right to the brim. Certainly makes the car handle differently. They go out in qualifying, they're trimmed right down to the bare minimum to get the best speed out of the car. Come to the race, you've got 20 laps, you've got to start with enough fuel to get right through the distance. So a very different handling car. Then you add in the wind. This could be interesting.
Could be very interesting indeed. Murray Taylor will be keeping up to date with us on what's going on in the pit lane throughout the race, and as we said, 20 laps in all. So they've got effectively a tailwind into the first corner, and it's a critical first corner because it's quite a long run to that first corner. The pole man, which is of course Liam Lawson, will have the advantage going in on the inside, but if Marcus Armstrong can get a decent start and fling himself around the outside, then possibly out of 1, they may be able to get an inside run into 2 and 3, and Armstrong take the advantage. So it's all to play for. There's some great overtaking positions, although they're very tight circuit here at Taupo. So it's a really interesting one, this one. But I do think that this could be the critical race. There are 4 races this weekend, and the impetus could change very quickly.
Yeah, Jonathan, that understeer at the first corner will be interesting to watch. Trying to get that front end grip so that you can turn in for the big long left-hander. That's going to be the decider.
Yeah, no question about it. And we've got some fans across the circuit, got their tents up. We've got some camper vans out there. That's one of the former race engineers enjoying with his family.
And I see down in
Motorsport.
I see down here in the pits that our Japanese visitor, Kazuto Kataka, has mum and dad here for the weekend. They've just flown in from Japan. They're not at the Grand Prix, so they've come down to get a taste of what the Toyota Racing Series is all about.
And if you've just tuned in on our live stream, konnichiwa, welcome to New Zealand and welcome to the Toyota Racing Series. We are proud and honoured to have our first junior Toyota driver here from Japan. He'll be racing in F3 in Japan this season, and it's delightful to see a young Japanese here taking on the rest of the world. And as you mentioned earlier over the lunch break, New Zealand, Austria, South Africa, Russia, USA, Belgium, Japan, Australia, the Czech Republic, Romania, and Australia. Wow, what a combination of different countries and talent from all over the world here. Murray, you've been in motor racing for many a year. This is about as good as it gets when it comes to a field of international races.
Well, I think after 15 years, it just seems to get better and better. I think the team behind the Toyota Racing Series have done a splendid job. It's been a difficult international market, a lot of uncertainty over what's happening with Formula 3 and FIA regulations. So the field came together very much at the last minute, but a world-class field.
Yeah, and as you can probably see for yourself, the cars are now getting out on track and will take their positions onto the grid. The engineers and the mechanics also pouring onto the circuit here. Little cooler conditions. They started practice, they did some testing, and once again it was the usual suspects from M2, Lucas Auer, Marcus Armstrong and Liam Lawson, who were the fastest men out there. That said, right behind that lead group of M2 men are Raul Hyman, Artem Petrov and Cameron Dass. And I'd add to that list Esteban Muth and Kazuto Kataka. So any one of those men, remember, 20 laps, there's always a chance of a safety car, and any one of those guys could get into a situation where they could win or get on the podium in this race. So it's far from a 2-horse race, and I think both Armstrong and Lawson and Auer need to be careful of that. I'm going to keep a watchful eye on Lucas Auer. He was second in qualifying just an hour ago. He's third on the grid for this race, and alongside him, Raul Hyman. Watch the second row. If they get a good start, they could challenge the 2 leaders, and I really do think we are in for an exciting race as the cars start to form up on the grid.
And Jonathan, the other visitor from Europe, who could well be having a big influence this weekend, Liam Lawson's driver coach in Europe, Enzo Mucci, has arrived. He'll be here for this race and the Grand Prix. And you've got to say, his influence, I think, is already being felt, because during the testing on Thursday and Friday, it was Marcus that was setting the pace. Liam was there or thereabouts, but come qualifying, Liam really stepped it up. And so this is the driver coach who will be working with him in Europe in the coming season. Not yet decided which championship he'll be doing. The prospect is probably Formula 3, probably the International FIA I'm picking. But this Enzo Mucci will be the man, as well as the race engineer. All these young drivers now need a driver coach, and it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, talk about the world at his feet, Liam Lawson. It really is fantastic. This is his debut season. He's a rookie. He's leading the rookie championship, surprise, surprise. And he's only 34 points behind in the overall championship at just 16 years of age. He won 15 of his 16 races here in New Zealand a couple of years ago and was pole position for every one of those races. Since going to Europe, he's done, well, ADAC German Championship, and he's also done a little bit of Asian F3, but wherever he's gone, he's made a mark for sure, and he's doing it again here in TRS. What I do find interesting about this race, we haven't actually seen, except for Teretonga, these 2 boys, Armstrong and Lawson, go wheel to wheel and race it out Armstrong did a brilliant job of holding off Lawson at Taronga. That was about the only time we got to see it. And sadly, because Taronga was, with the high winds, cancelled for those last 2 races, we didn't get them see to go wheel to wheel. And then, of course, Lawson wheel spin off the grid gave Marcus Armstrong a big advantage there. And at Highlands, Lawson was so far ahead of the chasing pack that we didn't get to see them going wheel to wheel there. So this one could be different.
Yes, it's certainly both shown that they're capable of winning. I must say, I take my hat off to Marcus. He's put his reputation on the line. Didn't go well for him last year. It was unfinished business. He's come back. He's now established in Europe. He doesn't need to be racing New Zealand, but like Brendan Hartley and Earl Bamber and others before him, New Zealand drivers always have a loyalty to the home, and it's great to see him come back here. And I think now it's come down to the numbers. It's come down to the fractions of a second. This has got a long way to go still.
Well, you know, there is another reason. Yes, that's a very good reason. Racing at home, no better than that. But also, no racing really of any consequence anywhere else in the world, and certainly not a place where you can get FIA super license points. So Marcus keeping one eye on the prize, which is, of course, Formula One. He's a Ferrari Academy driver, and if he wins the title, he'll take away a good point score for his super license to get to Formula One. So smart move by him. Lucas Auer doing the same thing. He doesn't need to come back to New Zealand. This is his 3rd championship. He's already gone on to bigger and better. He's already a works driver with DTM, with Mercedes, and is going on to Super Formula to take on Nick Cassidy. So yeah, there's a couple of stories down the road in this field of guys that don't necessarily need to race here, but they're here because this is the place where you hone your skills for the European or worldwide series, whether it's the Road to Indy or, of course, in the FIA series in Formula 3 and all the other categories of Formula 3. So Toyota have managed over the 15 years to create a really good system of getting these guys down here and racing hard for 5 weeks.
And not just the drivers, Jonathan. We've got a wealth of European, British experience here in the engineers, the mechanics that come down here, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying a break in the Southern Hemisphere, but also bringing knowledge to our Kiwi engineers and mechanics. So we really are global.
Yeah, no question about it. So, as you can see, the grid is cleared. We're ready to go racing here at Taupo. One of 4 races here in this beautiful setting for a motor race. Bruce McLaren would be delighted to watch them here this afternoon, I'm sure. Well, it used to be the Bruce and Denny show. Right now, it's the Marcus and Liam show here in the Toyota Racing Series.
And this is the lull before the storm. We've got the drone just hovering over the track, and they're away.
Yep, warming those tyres and going on to their warm-up lap. Cameron Dass is another one to watch out for. Brendan Leach has suffered a little bit in qualifying. He's been out of sorts a little bit. He's had a neck, well, he's had a back problem which has affected his neck. He just had a twinge to the neck in practice on Thursday. And he's been having regular massage on it and trying to sort of loosen it up. But it's never easy when you've got a stiff neck because you're being thrown around. I mean, the G's you're up against. So it's just a distraction that you don't need. And it's, I think, affected Brendan in qualifying. He was so good here last year. So he's got some work to do. But you can count on both Kotaka and Brendan Leach coming through that pack if they get an opportunity. I've also keeping an eye on Cameron Dass, 3rd last time out at Hampton Downs. He moved from 8th to 5th in the championship. Petrov, I think the silent wanderer here, the 19-year-old Russian from St. Petersburg, following in the footsteps of Robert Schwartzman, our current champion. Could he do something here? He's certainly been the most likely. He's won races and he's been on the podium. And he's had some bad luck too, just as Lucas Auer has. So, as well as focusing, of course, on Liam Lawson and Marcus Armstrong, want to keep an eye on who could create a surprise and who could step up. There's still 7 races to go, and everybody now is dialed in. If they didn't learn the car in the last 3 weeks, well, they're running out of time, because this is the day, this is the weekend where we often see some of the guys who've had some good runs but not success come through.
Yes, the new point scoring system is really working. Last year we had Vachor winning 6 races but not taking the title. I'd have to say that Nico, our race director, has really done a good job here.
So here they come. Out of the last complex and onto the grid. Liam Lawson, just 16 years of age, resides in Pukekohe. and takes the pole position. Alongside him, it's Christchurch's Marcus Armstrong. The Kiwis dominating so far, and they lead the championship 1 and 2. Marcus Armstrong leading by 34 points. It's that time of the championship, and as the cool kids say, it's time for one of them to send it.
8,000 revs on the rev limiter coming up, and drop the clutch.
Still a strong breeze here. You can almost hear the heartbeats. Up go the revs. Out go the lights, and a great start from Armstrong. Armstrong's got the advantage. Liam Lawson comes back at him. They're side by side as they go to the first corner, and Lawson somehow recovers. That was a scary moment because Armstrong stole a march on him there. Lawson recovers well, and they are 1, 2, 3. Artem Petrov almost getting into third past Lucas Auer, but Auer holding on to third place. An exciting and explosive start, and Armstrong did everything right. Lawson had to cover hard to hold his position, but it is Liam Lawson who leads the field. A good clean start as well. Kotaka gets away well. He's right behind the American by the looks of it, Cameron Dass. A lock up there by, I think that was number 9, Petacek. Locking up there, luckily not hitting anybody, and they're all jostling for position at the back of the circuit. Great start to this one as they head down now to the loop for the first time. There is Callan Williams, and look at Liam Lawson already pulling away from Armstrong as they dive into the bottom of the circuit, and now down. Lock up from Leach there as he loses time. Cameron Dass coming back on him. But he has got the place, so he's got ahead of Cameron Dass. I said that Leach would be fiery for sure. He loves racing here, does Brendan Leach. Here we go then, into the complex for the first time to complete the first lap. Liam Lawson leading Armstrong. Third place, Lucas Auer in the number 22. All M2 competition. Then it's number 7, Raoul Hyman of Giles Motorsport in 4th place. They all cross the line. Jackson Walls has got away well. He's behind Kotaka. And Cameron Dass has lost a place or two. Callan Williams all over the back of him now. Petrov, Dass in the midfield. Kotaka started well. Parents are here to celebrate. Konnichiwa to them. And let's enjoy as Liam Lawson locks them all up. And it's still pretty tight for the opening round, or the opening lap of this one. But Leach certainly getting rather fiery. The man in front of him just dropping a wheel onto the dust and dirt. It's very simple to go off here, and that's Jackson Walls. And I've been really impressed with this young 16-year-old. Only turned 16 just after Highlands. Had to wait out the first round because he wasn't old enough, and then joined at Taronga. And he's never looked back. At Hampton Downs, he really came into his own. And he's already showing some real fight here. A lock-up again from Lawson. That's how hard he's trying. And Armstrong will just wait his time. It's a 20-lap race, this. Murray, what's going on?
Well, as you say, Liam is not pulling away. In fact, it's about 3 car lengths. And I think maybe Armstrong is just letting the tyres settle down. You see he's closed up a little bit more now, but Liam always has good traction coming out of the corners.
Yeah, and if it comes to a straight fight, we've already seen Liam has certainly been the more aggressive driver of the pair. And as we say, don't count out Lucas Auer, who just did a 125.7. That was quicker than anybody else out there. So Lucas Auer very much in this race in 3rd place as they dive through the infield section again. The top 4 pulling away now from Raoul Hyman. Petrov getting through on him. Hyman dropping a place. Kotaka there. Then Walls, then Leach, then Cameron Dass. Leach looking for a way past. Can't get on Jackson Walls just yet. Brendan Leach, here he is. Got Dass behind him as he fights with Walls. It's allowed Dass to catch up as well. Through goes Kotaka. There's Walls in the Objective-sponsored car, and of course, the resplendent all yellow and black Bumblebee of ITM, and Brendan Leach racing for victory as he has done. His 6th consecutive season in the series. Really impressive. And of course, before that, his brother Damon doing the business for the Leach family from Invercargill. Down the back straight again. And this is the best opportunity for an overtake. If you can get in the slipstream here, don't think Brendan's close enough this time. And I'll have to wait it out and build up on another lap. Here come the leaders. Let's take a look at the times this time. Lawson at 1:25.2. Armstrong at 1:25.5. That's their best time so far. And Lawson doing his quickest lap on that last lap, lap 3. Still a long way to go yet, though.
And Jonathan Petrov is holding in there. He's shown he's got speed, and he is not letting these 3 in front of him get away.
Yeah, it's been the case throughout the season, hasn't he? He's been on the pace of the leaders. He's just had a bit of bad luck. He got some good luck at Hampton when he got that win when Cameron Dass crashed out, and of course got the full complement of points, and that's kept him in the title chase, and it's far from over. Just as we talk about the 2 leaders being gapped by 34 points, if you look further down, there's a real battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, and there's a matter of 16 points between each of them. So with 4 races ahead this weekend, the picture of the championship title chase could be dramatically different before the end of this weekend. There is Petrov from St. Petersburg, the 19-year-old. Got a lot of experience as Petrov. Like so many, started in karting and has come through the ranks, winning in Russia and Finland, of course. Not too much racing in Russia, although they are getting more circuits now, Moscow, Sochi, etc. And we've got a plethora of great Russian drivers at the top end of motor racing.
Well, Jonathan, you can check the monitor, but I think Liam's just done past his lap.
Yep, a 1:25.2. In fact, actually, I think Lucas Auer is quicker. His best time at a 1:25.1. So they're all on very similar pace. So yeah, the fastest man so far overall, Lucas Auer, but Lawson definitely got the gap between himself and Marcus Armstrong. Lucas Auer closing in on Armstrong at the moment, and Petrov in 4th. And this top 4 pulling away now from 5th place, Raoul Hyman. Kotaka going in pursuit of the Brit. And Jackson Wall's doing a really good job of holding up a group of 5 drivers, and Brendan Leach the closest of them.
Yes, it's certainly Lucas Auer, the one that's looking racy at the moment, Jonathan. He's really shadowing Marcus.
Yeah, and of course, this sort of track is one of those where you're trying not necessarily to create an overtake. It's more about trying to force a mistake, trying to force the man in front of you to push harder, keep looking in the mirrors, not concentrate necessarily on his turn-in points and so on and so forth. So there's a bit of tactics, there's a bit of strategy to this. There's not a lot of places for outright overtaking unless you can really tuck yourself up down this back straight. Use the wind sometimes if there is a tailwind, but it's really going across this back straight at the moment from left to right, as we saw with the flags earlier. So then, 5 laps completed. The leaders cross the line, and all on similar pace again. Good battle here also. Cameron Dass, the American, former F4 champion from the USA, been racing with Carlin in the UK. Of course, Brendan Leach has had a run in F4, of course, in the USA as well, so very much aware of Cameron Dass's achievements. Kyle Kirkwood and many others coming through the American system. Parker Locke also part of that. And we've got Dev Gore, 3 Americans here this year. Cameron Dass, the lead of the trio. Callum Williams, really impressed with him too. Another Formula 3 champion from Australia back in 2017. Been racing for Fortec in the UK, Callum, and the man from Perth has certainly improved as the season has gone on. I say the season, it's only a few weeks, but it feels like a full season because it is. In terms of racing, it's absolutely that. 15 races, over 3,000 kilometers of training, testing, qualifying and racing. Car 11 there, just ahead of Brendan Leach. Our youngest driver, as I mentioned before, Jackson Walls, just turned 16 2 weeks ago. And I tell you what, holding his own, really impressive. Raoul Hyman crosses the line. Is Hyman making any inroads? Just not quite on the pace, it's about 4/10 off the leaders. But if anyone is going to attempt an overtake in the near future, I'd look to Lucas Auer. He's had some bad luck as the Austrian. Nephew, of course, of the great Gerhard Berger. And those of you who know your Formula 1 will remember the great Gerhard and his days, and his mate, Ayrton Senna. They had some fun times in Formula 1, and he was a good peddler in his day, no question about it. And of course, now one of the leading lights in international racing.
Well, Liam's stretching that advantage, and I do suspect that our is ready to pounce.
Yeah, I do as well, and it's only playing into the advantage. Brendan Leach now as they go through 9, the sweeper. Flat out through here, 4th gear. And I think Brendan's going to make a move up the inside maybe very soon. But yes, this is all playing nicely for Liam Lawson because he can concentrate. And as you can see, as Armstrong weaves from side to side, he's trying everything to hold off Lucas Auer. Just the worst possible scenario because it's his teammate as well. But Lucas Auer hasn't got time to worry about that. He wants by, and that was textbook. Brilliant stuff by Lucas Auer. He locks up at the end of it, but he makes it stick, and he gets into 2nd place. And Armstrong drops to 3rd, and now Lucas Auer will go in pursuit. And it's also allowed Petrov to catch up. A 3-way battle now for the podium. Lawson, on the other hand, is up the road. He's got a gap of 2.6 seconds now to this battle you're watching. But that was brilliant stuff into the complex by Lucas Auer. We're now starting to see the real maturity of the 24-year-old, the oldest competitor in the series.
So this is starting to look like that win that Liam took at Highlands Park, Jonathan, just easing away relentlessly.
Yeah, what I like about Liam, I mean, he is still not the finished article at 16, but I mean, you know, when he's got a lead, he's in the zone and he builds on it. When he needs to race, when he needs to get aggressive, he's quite happy to do that. That outside move at Highlands, brilliant. He did the same again at Highlands a couple of times, at Hampton a couple of times, and got himself in trouble a little. He came together with Jackson Walls, but held off. And a racing incident, and he went on to win that one. And yeah, no question that Lawson has got all the parts in his armory to do the business. Here comes Leach again on Jackson Walls. The rookie against the most experienced driver we have. Still not quite close enough, and whatever it is, Walls is just getting away on the exit down the back straight to stay away from Leach, and Leach not able to build on it and make the move that Lucas Auer just made. And now there's a bit of a freight train behind Leach as they all want by. Down the main straight they come. The leaders have already passed. Petrov now putting the pressure on Armstrong. Armstrong can't afford to lose another spot. Now Leach is very close as he exits turn 1. Surely now the pressure will start to show on young Jackson Walls. Been racing in F4 in Australia and looks likely to go back there. And likewise Thomas Smith, and they'll both probably be on the undercard for the Formula 1 race, which must be a real thrill for any Australian. And look at him, Cameron Dass is ready to go with Brendan Leach. Here we go towards 9. Cameron Dass from Baltimore in the USA. Determined to get to Formula 1. So many Americans stay in America. It's a comfy life, but this man chose to live right by the factory at Carlin in the heart of the UK. And he's been living there. His girlfriend from England has come over to support him here for the last few weeks. Lawson crosses the line again. Last time out, a 25.002. He's up the pace again, and that was the fastest lap. Lawson is in the zone. Building on that lead. Armstrong still under pressure here. Raoul Hyman can't quite stay with the leaders. But Lawson is gone. He's almost 2 corners ahead now of the chasing pack. That last lap at 25.002. Murray.
Yeah, another fastest lap from Liam. He really is driving very smoothly, very confident.
Yeah, half a second quicker than Auer in that last lap. Brilliant stuff. Armstrong under pressure from Petrov. Petrov needing the points, wants to get in the fight with this. Raoul Hyman struggling. He's been struggling with balance all weekend, Raoul Hyman. I spoke to him on when I arrived Friday morning, and he said he was just out of sorts. Couldn't find a lap where the balance was right at all. And they asked him, his engineer said, well, what do you want us to change? And he goes, well, which lap would you like me to describe? Because it's different every lap. And then finally it came good yesterday. And certainly in qualifying, he put in a monstrous lap on the last lap of his qualifying session to go 4th for the next race coming up. And another lock-up from Brendan. He's pushing. But I'm impressed with Jackson. He's holding on, showing some maturity for a youngster. 23-year-old against the 16-year-old. Said he had no aspirations of really doing anything in terms of results, did Jackson. But I think that aspiration has changed as the weeks have gone on. I think he's been inspired. Kotaka still doing a good job, circulating just behind Raoul Hyman. Here comes that group. Across the line they come, being led by Jackson Walls. And what, there's 6 drivers now involved in this group. So try as they might, they can't get by him. Still plenty of time left though. A 20-lap feature race this. 35 points up for the winner. And Liam Lawson extending that lead. The gap 3.1 seconds now to Lucas Hauer in 2nd place. Something's got to give in this battle. And I wonder if Cameron Dass might make a dash at making a move on Brendan instead, because Brendan can't seem to do anything to get past Walls at the moment. This is where he needs to work at it, I feel. Get some good grip out of the loop corner here and down the back straight. And he's doing just that, but he's locking up, you see, and that's not going to help him. Look how much time he's lost there alone, and that's where he loses it, and off goes Jackson. So the race settling down now. 11 laps gone. The gap, 3.6 seconds now. Go ahead, Murray. I gotcha. Yeah, and if they're just tuning in for the first time, he's been doing this for the last 3 weeks. At Highlands, he was so impressive. Remember, he won 2 races at Highlands, one by 9.5 seconds, the other by 10. I mean, he just annihilated the field that day, and he's doing it again here at Taupo. I mean, he's just got his head down, and he's in the zone. Enzo, his driver coach, whatever he said, he's doing the trick. 3.6 seconds. Here we go. Brendan Leach and Cameron Dass. I said it might be Cameron that makes the move, and it is. Cameron Dass side by side with Leach. And if either of those two make a mistake, Callum Williams is in there, and Esteban moves, and out goes Brendan Leach. Hard to call who's at fault in that one, but either way, Leach has come off worst. But don't worry, as ITM say, he'll be right. Deb Gore going past him. So real shame for Brendan Leach. It's not been an easy weekend for the New Zealander. But either way, Cameron Dass has got his way. Esteban Muth made a good move while that kerfuffle was going on, and has got past the other two. So Cameron Dass of the USA and Esteban Muth of Belgium for Stracker Racing. Stracker Racing, of course, you'll be familiar with for endurance racing at Le Mans. French team, Belgian team. But look at him go. 4 seconds now, the gap. Good news for Marcus Armstrong. He's not lost out on Lucas Hauer, and he's not lost any time to Petrov. And in fact, the pair of them, the two M2 boys, have built on their 2nd and 3rd and dropped Petrov for now. Jackson Wall still in the top 10. This would be a good result for Jackson if he can stay there.
Down here in the pits, Jonathan, I've got to tell you, this wind is getting stronger. It really is. You can see the flags now. It will be influencing the way the car's handling.
Murray, I dare you to go down and talk to Mark Pilcher, see what he's got to say about all this, see if there's any tactics and strategy down there for the 2nd and 3rd place man. But steady as you go for the man, Lawson, who crosses the line. A 25.2 this time from Lawson. He's staying on that pace too. Lucas does a 25.4. Marcus a 25.6. So Lawson each time is piling on the pressure and keeping the gap to over 4 seconds here. 13 laps of the 20 gone. Still got a lot of way to go in this race yet. And Dass now all over the back of Jackson Walls.
Well, Jonathan, I'm here with Pilch.
Good man.
Pilch, every driver driving his own race, obviously no team instructions.
not at all. No, we all race against each other. The only instruction is do not crash, because there's a risk we can't fix the car for this afternoon's second race.
Another fine performance from young Liam.
Yeah, it is. It is. Impressive.
Certainly is. Certainly is. A great drive. And all three cars going well.
Yeah, Marcus has just set the fastest lap of the race, so we'll see what happens in the next few.
Plenty to play for.
Mark Pilcher, a man of few words, but what words he does say, and that is that he's impressed with Liam Lawson. We all are. It's just been so impressive. He's just, I mean, right from the get-go, he started winning and has never looked back. Those who followed him in the junior series knew if he came back home he would be impressive, but I didn't know how impressive he would be, and he's doing it again here at Taupo. And the men behind him are accomplished factory drivers who've got a lot more experience than Liam Lawson, but like you say, team managers watching around the world might be just making a note of LL, Mr. Lawson. And Cameron Dass in the floors again, and off goes Parker Lock. It's all going full of drama in this one. 66, Parker Lock from San Antonio, Texas in the USA goes off. Let's hope that doesn't cause a safety car, because that could change this race dramatically. But also Cameron Dass looked as though he was, yes, he has got jacked through on Jackson Walls. Esteban Muth didn't. 54 is Colin Williams. He's now looking for a crack at it. Parker Lock stuck out in the grass there, but it doesn't look as though he's under power. So he's in a precarious position. They need to get him out of there. And so they'll be looking at that very carefully, I'm sure. But if he can get it under power, and it is a safety car. Now, that changes everything. And Murray, you know all too well, in all your years of motor racing, all the hard work that Liam Lawson has done has now led to this safety car, and he's going to have to do it all again.
Absolutely, but he has shown that he has the ability to lead away from a safety car situation, but disappointing for him, but that's motor racing.
Yeah, and it is, and it's also a big factor in the Toyota Racing Series. We do have a lot of safety cars. I think that's actually a good training part of the Toyota Racing Series. It certainly taught Cameron Dass how to do it, because he got it wrong a couple of times at Hampton, but certainly learned his lesson. But yeah, it's all part of motor racing, and they're going to deal with this in Europe many, many times in F3, and whatever series they're in. Masters, perhaps. I was talking to Petru Florescu, that's what he hopes to do. Jonathan Maury at the moment testing the new Formula 3 car over, and he'll be back for the Grand Prix. So the F3 world opening up for these youngsters, and Toyota very much a great starting point. Well, it looks as though Jonathan Maury's already back, I'm glad to say. Murray, I hear that Jonathan's just arrived.
And I've just arrived at Jonathan. He's standing here looking looking very happy.
Ask him how his F3 car is.
Yeah, how's your F3 car going, Jonathan?
All right, actually. We had a good shakedown back in Europe, and I literally just landed, sprinted here to watch the race now. So it's been an eventful few weeks, but no, it's good, and happy to see that the boys are at the front as well.
Well, I can tell you that Pilch and the boys have been holding the fort for you. They've been doing a good job. You've come back in the middle of the season, but it certainly is an impressive lineup this year.
Yeah, to be honest, the level of the championship is really good as well. In general, I think all four teams have a decent lineup. The championship is strong. We have a very strong lineup. I have to agree. But it's also down to them. I think they've been doing a good job. We've had a few hiccups in the first 2 weeks, and then after that, I think it got a bit settled, and it's now on the way pretty much.
Well, I'm sure that some of the teams in Europe are looking very closely at young Liam Lawson.
Yeah, which is a problem for us. No, we are talking to Liam. Obviously, Liam is doing really well here, and he's unsure about his program for this year. So it's work under progress at the moment.
He seems to have a very level head, his feet on the ground.
I mean, he's only 16 or 17. I mean, he's really young, but he reminds me of Marcus at the same age. Actually, they're very similar in a lot of ways. Both extremely talented, the two of them. Marcus got a bit more experience, and Liam is a bit greener in that side, but it's normal at his age, and I think they both have an enormous potential to go really high in their career, I think.
I have a lot of respect for what Marcus has done this year, coming back and putting his reputation on the line.
Me too. For sure, Marcus and Lucas, I mean, hats off to the both of them, because in a way they have everything to lose by coming here, and they were not scared of doing it. Marcus and us had some unfinished business after last year, I have to say, and I was really happy he made the decision to come back, because we're really giving it a crack at it now. And but fair play to Marcus. Full respect to him for doing it.
Welcome home.
Thank you very much.
Great interview, Murray. And while the timing is brilliant, because the lights are off on the safety car and we are about to have a 3-lap sprint to the finish here of the feature race. One that didn't get done, the one that got away. And can Liam Lawson do just that? Get away from the chasing group, which includes Lucas Auer and Marcus Armstrong. He leads them out of the complex, or into the complex, I should say. It's his race now to win or lose. He'll accelerate when he's good and ready. And away they go then. 3 laps to go. The green flag waves. Lawson leads them into the first corner. No change at the front. Though it looks as though Das has got through on Kataka. Kataka had made an attack on him, but Das comes back. Raoul Hyman, can he have a go at Petrov? Everybody just a little bit closer. Leach is looking for a way past Dev Gore, having lost several places. Lawson again pulling away from Lucas Auer on the infield section, through 6 and 7. Parker Locke is circulating again. They got him going.
Beautiful restart from there, Liam Jonathan. Just came across to cover the line beautifully.
Yeah.
No fuss, no bother. Well in control.
Yeah, very much in control, and I think Jonathan's right. They're going to have their hands full trying to keep him, because, of course, they've got an offer for him in Europe, and he certainly has got the world at his feet. So here we go, down the back straight. This is the most obvious place for an overtake, given they're all bunched together. Armstrong under pressure from Petrov. Likewise, Das looking for a way past Raoul Hyman. They're going to do it. They're going to do it soon. Lawson comes out of the last corner. Petrov looking as though he might make an attempt on Marcus Armstrong. They go into turn 1. Armstrong takes a nice wide line and defends that position. Das still all over the back of Hyman. It's the USA versus Great Britain. And Das side by side for a moment. Hyman holds him off. Kotaka's now got walls behind him. 2 laps to go in this 20-lap feature race. Could this be Liam Lawson's 4th win of the season? 35 points up for grabs in this one for the winner. Kotaka under big pressure now. He's got a group of 6 cars behind him. But this is a good showing by the Japanese. Obviously, having his parents here has helped a little. Did an interview with him last night. His hero, Lewis Hamilton, wants to follow in his footsteps. And was texting Kobayashi, congratulations for winning at Daytona. And here we go. Kotaka is through brilliantly. He's got a slightly broken front wing by the looks of things, though. You can see it here from this angle on the left-hand side. So he's doing a masterful performance to say he's overtaking, given that his car's not fully. And he's lost out again to Jackson Walls, and I think that will be because of the wing. So he'll continue. 19 laps gone. Raoul Hyman under big pressure now. Here comes Das. He goes to the inside, goes to the outside, locks up on the outside. Getting desperate now. Kotaka also likewise goes very wide but stays through and loses several places because of that broken wing. Hyman doing everything to hold off the American. And this is going to be Jackson Walls' best finish by the looks of things. And there's Kotaka in the background there. What a shame, because he was going all so well then for a while. Just got locked up at the complex. Meanwhile, Lawson pulling away. The gap 1.3 seconds to Lucas Auer. So he's built it up again in this short sprint restart of the race. Fastest lap to Liam Lawson. And it's going to be another M2 fest. They've dominated the series. They won every race at Hampton Downs. And they're starting the weekend as they mean to go on. Down the back straight comes Lawson. Checkered flag is awaiting him. It's been a good, clean race. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Got away well from the start. Defended well against Armstrong. I thought that was Armstrong's best opportunity. Didn't come to fruition. And once again, it's awesome. Lawson does it and makes it 4 here in 2019. Lucas Auer takes second place, and Marcus Armstrong crosses the line to round out the podium. Petrov a strong 4th place, and Raoul Hyman doing a sterling job of holding off Cameron Dass for 6th place. Dass 6th, Raoul Hyman in the end 5th, but Jackson Walls, hats off to the youngster, the youngest competitor here in 7th place, holding off Muth, Callan Williams and Kotaka, who takes 10th position. Further down, Florescu of Romania, Thomas Smith of Australia, Dev Gore, USA, Brendan Leach of New Zealand, Peter Petacek of the Czech Republic, and Parker Locke of the USA. Well, textbook stuff by Liam Lawson, no doubt about it. Really, really impressive. And if you've just tuned in to the live stream, this is the 4th round of the Toyota Racing Series for 2019. We have 6 more races to go. 3 of them this weekend, 1 more this afternoon later today, and 2 more, including the feature race tomorrow afternoon. So a lot of racing still to come, all point scoring races. And then of course next weekend we head to Manfield, the mighty Manfield, where Toyota is based. And that will be of course the New Zealand Grand Prix, the feature race. But congratulations to Liam Lawson. He wins his 4th race of the season and closes the gap on Marcus Armstrong. Lucas Auer on the podium in 2nd place, and Marcus Armstrong rounding out the top 3.